Hey, this is Mad Movie Mark of the Mad Movie Mark Movie Review. Thank you for joining me as I review the 2006 Australian mockumentary Kenny.
Well, can we get it sorted by the end of today?
Hey, well, I'm trying the best I can. I know it's getting late, but I want to get this done before I go to bed. Kenny has a 100% fresh rating from the critics on Rotten Tomatoes and an 86% fresh rating from the audience. I am currently reviewing every movie that has a 100% fresh rating from the critics. This movie stars Shane Jacobson, who I don't know if he still does, but he used to be one of the judges on Australia's Got Talent. Now, I haven't seen a lot of mockumentaries. I saw This Is Spinal Tap a long time ago, I'm probably 25 years ago, and I don't really remember a lot about it. I've also saw Forgotten Silver, which I thought was really funny. What I expected from a mockumentary, maybe I just expected the wrong thing, but I thought this was going to be just like laughs a second. Like every second I was going to be laughing, and it was just going to be a straight comedy. But this movie is a comedy, but it also is an amazing character study, and I thought this movie was a lot more deeper than I thought it was going to be, and I really enjoyed it. I thought this movie was amazing. Shane Jacobson does a fantastic job. I think he's actually a writer on this movie too, but man, he plays this character amazingly. You really understand him. You really feel for him. He plays a guy who basically cleans toilets. He cleans porta potties. So he takes them to the site where they need to go to. I think he also maybe is in charge of scheduling a little bit of this too, but he takes them to the site where they need to go to, and he monitors them throughout the day to make sure that they're cleaned and make sure that they're kept up, and basically make sure that there's no complaints going on. Now, on the surface, that doesn't seem like a very interesting movie at all, and it does seem like it could be a funny mockumentary, but you really see into this guy's life, and I really understood this guy's life, and I lived part of this guy's life as well, because this type of job he's in is not like a desk job. It's a job that people look down on him for. It's a job that it's really hard for him to get time off of work, or it's really hard for him to get off on time, and it affects a lot of the things that are going on in his life. And I worked in fast food for a long time, and I had that same kind of job where everyone looks down on you. It's almost impossible to get time off because if you ask for time off, at least for me, when I asked for time off when I worked in fast food, they just told me that if I didn't want to work, that they could fill my job with someone else, even if I only asked for a couple days off. And the hours you work are crazy too, to where you feel bad asking for days off, or you feel bad asking to go home on time or wanting to go home on time, so you miss all these events. There's a birthday party of his brother's that he misses in this movie, and you really see it affecting his life and affecting who he is. But he doesn't complain ever about any of this. He takes it all in stride. He thinks he's a professional, and he is. He is, basically. But he thinks he's a professional. He thinks that he really knows what he's doing, and he does know what he's doing. And he sees himself as kind of a leader in this business, and that's what he is. He's absolutely fantastic at what he does. Now, on the flip side, he works with a lot of people who aren't that smart, or a lot of people who are lazy and don't actually want to work. There's a guy in this movie that he works with at one point where they're at a concert, and instead of keeping the toilets up and instead of cleaning the toilets and doing what he's supposed to do, he's just watching the concert. And Kenny has to constantly go up to him and be like, hey, there's complaints coming from your section. You need to go over there. You need to clean it up. You need to make sure everything's going well. And Kenny keeps going to him and asking him, you need to go over there and do your job. And finally this guy just says he can't take Kenny anymore, and he quits, which is funny, which is hilarious, because I've been there before. I've been work at a place before where one example, I had a coworker who was just going in the back. This is when I worked in a fast food, would just go in the back constantly and text all the time, and no one could find where they were. They would just be in the break room texting constantly. And finally the manager said, you need to stop doing that. We need you in this position. This is a very crucial part of the store. We have a drive-through that needs to get out on time. We're looked at at how fast we get people out, so we need you there. And then she ended up, when she went on break, she just never came back. So it's I really understand what he's going through, and I feel like I've worked the same level of job, not the same job, but like the same level in society of job, and I really like. It's funny to me because I understand what he's going through. There's also touching moments with his son. He has a son with a wife, and they've split up, and he's trying to like spend time with his son, and he's trying to see his son when he's supposed to, and his wife just kind of like doesn't pay attention to the times and the rules that they set up, and she'll drop him off, and she'll be like, I need him back in 3 hours, and he'll be like, I'm supposed to have him all day, and she's like, I don't care, I need him back in 3 hours, or she'll bring him on a week before they're even supposed to see each other, which I've seen before too in my life. I've seen that kind of dynamic happen as well. So you really understand what he's going through, and you really feel like this is stuff, at least me, that you've gone through as well. There's also a touching scenes with his dad. So Kenny's dad is someone who's a bit of like a hard-nosed dad. He wants Kenny to get a real job, so he keeps trying to get him opportunities to get interviews for real jobs, and Kenny keeps saying, like, I have a real job, like, I like what I'm doing, I don't need to do anything else, like, I get paid what I want to get paid, I like what I'm doing, like, and his dad just wants him to be like at a desk job, like at a corporate job, but it's not what he wants. And later on, his dad gets sick, and his dad thinks that he's dying, so he invites Kenny and his brother into the woods and kind of tells them what he wants for his funeral. And it's like a really deep scene where they throw bits of comedy in it too, but it's also very serious in what they're doing, and it's masterfully done. I really enjoyed it. Towards the end of the movie, I guess maybe middle to end of the movie, so he's in Australia, and then he ends up having to go to Tennessee to like a convention, like a pumpers and dumpers convention or something like that, where it's all about toilets and the life of the person who does porta potties, and they have like the trucks that you carry the stuff in, and it's just like it's like a convention for people who do this type of job. And he ends up meeting an airline stewardess, and they go on a couple dates, and it seems like he really doesn't know like how to date or what he's doing, but he's still successful at doing it anyway. And those are really touching scenes where you're really rooting for him. I mean, it's impossible not to root for him in this movie. Everything he's doing, you're just rooting for him all the way, and you just want him to accomplish everything that he wants to accomplish. And at the end of the movie, he has these these Japanese, I think they're Japanese, might be the wrong country, but they're Asians, and they're at he ends up inviting them to the convention. He meets them somewhere, and he ends up inviting them to the convention, and when he's out with the stewardess, he sees one of the Asians, they hang out, they get drunk, he goes back, he drives him back to the hotel, and the next day, like, the Asian's all like, hey, some of those toilets that you sell at your company, we want to buy, like, I don't know, it was like 8,600 or some crazy number that they wanted to buy. Maybe it was 86, I don't remember. But they're expensive toilets with like TVs, and they end up offering Kenny a new position. They want to give him a promotion, but at the end of the movie he decides not to accept it because he likes what he's doing, and he's fine with what he's doing. He doesn't want a corporate job. He doesn't want like a desk job. Now I was the exact opposite. Like, I couldn't get out of that kind of job fast enough. I was like, please get me out of here so I can have a desk job and I don't have to do all this laborsome work and worry about getting days off and worry about having vacations and all this stuff. I absolutely was miserable in that kind of job, but he loves it. Like, this is what he loves to do. He feels like he has a purpose in life. He feels like he's helping people. He feels like he's really good at what he does, and he just loves what he's doing, and like, more power to him. And like I said, Shane Jacobson is amazing in this movie. I was like blown away by how good he was. I really liked the plot. I liked the story. I really like what they were doing with this movie. This is like it's very rare that I feel like I understand a character as much as I understood him, and I really feel like I understood him, which really made me want to root for him and really made me love this movie a lot. It was a touching movie. It was still funny too. Now, it's from Australia. I mean, sometimes with like Australian comedy and comedy like out of England, I have trouble with it. I've seen Australia's Got Talent before, which is where he's the judge, and if there's ever like an impressionist or someone who's a comedian, it's always like references from that country, and I have no idea what they're talking about. There might have been some of that in here, where when he's in Australia, there's things that maybe I don't understand. But besides that, I thought the movie was funny. I didn't think it was hilarious. Like, I didn't think it was as funny as Forgotten Silver, but I thought it was a much better movie than Forgotten Silver. I thought it was better directed, better written, better acted. It had heart, and I just thought, I mean, it's hard for me to say a lot more about it. I thought it was a great movie. I think anyone can jump into this movie and love it. There's been a lot of movies that I've watched, like The Mirror, or I don't know, maybe Live-In Maid maybe was another one. But there's a lot of movies that I've watched where people are either going to find them slow, find them boring, they're not going to enjoy them. It's not like a movie that everyone can sit down and like have fun with. But this movie, I feel like anyone can pick it up, watch it, and have something about it that they either feel like they know about that, they feel like they have lived that part of their life, or they find it funny. I feel like there's something in this movie for everyone. I feel like anyone can pick it up and love it. I give it a 9.5 out of 10. I thought it was really quite fantastic. I hope you join me next time when I review the movie Still Walking. Thank you. Have a great day.